Biology. Unit 1. Diversity in living world. What is living? Biodiversity. Need for classification, taxonomy and systematics, concept of species and taxonomical hierarchy, binomial nomenclature, five-kingdom classification, salient features and classification of Monera, Protista and fungi into major groups, lichens, viruses and viroids. Salient features and classification of plants into major groups: algae, bryophytes, pteridophytes, gymnosperms, 3 to 5 salient and distinguishing features and at least 2 examples of each category. Salient features and classification of animals non-chordate up to phyla level and chordate up to classes level, 3 to 5 salient features and at least 2 examples. Unit 2. Structural organization in animals and plants. Morphology and modifications, tissues, anatomy and functions of different parts of flowering plants, root, stem, leaf, inflorescence cymose and racemose, flower, fruit and seed, to be dealt along with the relevant practical of the practical syllabus, family, Malvaceae, Cruciferae, Leguminosae, Compositae, Graminae. Animal tissues, morphology, anatomy and functions of different systems, digestive, circulatory, respiratory, nervous and reproductive, of an insect, frog. Brief account only. Unit 3, Cell structure and function. Cell theory and cell is the basic unit of life. Structure of prokaryotic and eukaryotic cell, plant cell and animal cell, cell envelope, cell membrane, cell wall, cell organelle structure and function, endomembrane system, endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi bodies, lysosomes, vacuoles, mitochondria, ribosomes, plastids, microbodies, cytoskeleton, cilia, flagella, centrioles, ultrastructure and function, nucleus, nuclear membrane, chromatin, nucleolus. Chemical constituents of living cells, biomolecules, structure and function of proteins, carbohydrates, lipids, nucleic acids, enzymes, types, properties, enzyme action, classification and nomenclature of enzymes. B-cell division, cell cycle, mitosis, meiosis and their significance. Unit 4, Plant physiology. Photosynthesis. Photosynthesis is a means of autotrophic nutrition. Site of photosynthesis take place. Pigments involved in photosynthesis. Elementary idea. Photochemical and biosynthetic phases of photosynthesis, cyclic and non-cyclic and photophosphorylation, chemiosmotic hypothesis, photorespiration C3 and C4. Pathways, factors affecting photosynthesis. Respiration, exchange gases, cellular respiration, glycolysis, fermentation, anaerobic, TCA cycle and electron transport system, aerobic, energy relations, number of ATP molecules generated, amphibolic pathways, respiratory quotient. Plant growth and development, seed germination, phases of plant growth and plant growth rate, conditions of growth, differentiation, dedifferentiation and redifferentiation, sequence of developmental process in a plant cell, growth regulators, auxin, gibberellin, cytokinin, ethylene, ABA. Unit 5, Human physiology. Breathing and respiration, respiratory organs in animals, recall only, respiratory system in humans, mechanism of breathing and its regulation in humans, exchange of gases, transport of gases and regulation of respiration, respiratory volumes, disorders related to respiration, asthma, emphysema, occupational respiratory disorders. Body fluids and circulation, composition of blood, blood groups, coagulation of blood, composition of lymph and its function, human circulatory system, structure of human heart and blood vessels, cardiac cycle, cardiac output, ECG, double circulation, regulation of cardiac activity, disorders of circulatory system, hypertension, coronary artery disease, angina pectoris, heart failure. Excretory products and their elimination, modes of excretion, aminotelism, ureatelism, urocotylism, human excretory system, structure and function, urine formation, osmoregulation, regulation of kidney function, renin-angiotensin, atrial natriuretic factor, ADH and diabetes insipidus, role of other organs in excretion, disorders, uremia, renal failure, renal calculi, nephritis, dialysis and artificial kidney. Locomotion and movement, types of movement, ciliary, flagella, muscular, skeletal, muscle, contractile proteins and muscle contraction, skeletal system and its functions. To be dealt with the relevant practical of practical syllabus, joints, disorders of muscular and skeletal system, myasthenia gravis, tetany, muscular dystrophy, arthritis, osteoporosis, gout. neural control and coordination, neuron and nerves, nervous system in humans, central nervous system, peripheral nervous system and visceral nervous system, generation and conduction of nerve impulse, chemical coordination and regulation, endocrine glands and hormones, human endocrine system, hypothalamus, pituitary, pineal, thyroid, parathyroid, adrenal, pancreas, gonads, mechanism of hormone action, elementary idea, role of hormones as messengers and regulators, hypo and hyperactivity and related disorders, common disorders e.g. dwarfism, acromegaly, cretinism, goiter, exophthalmic goiter, diabetes, Addison's disease. Imp. Diseases and disorders mentioned above to be dealt in brief. Unit 6. Reproduction. Sexual reproduction in flowering plants, flower structure, development of male and female gametophytes, pollination types, agencies and examples, outbreeding devices, pollen-pistil interaction, double fertilization, post-fertilization events, development of endosperm and embryo, development of seed and formation of fruit, special modes apomixis, parthenocarpy, polyembryony, significance of seed and fruit formation. Human reproduction, male and female reproductive systems, microscopic anatomy of testis and ovary, gametogenesis, spermatogenesis and oogenesis, menstrual cycle. Fertilization, embryo development up to blastocyst formation, implantation, pregnancy and placenta formation, elementary idea, parturition, elementary idea, lactation. Elementary idea, reproductive health, need for reproductive health and prevention of sexually transmitted diseases, STD, birth control need and methods, contraception and medical termination of pregnancy, MTP, amniocentesis, infertility and assisted reproductive technologies, IVF, ZIFT, GIFT, elementary idea for general awareness. Unit 7, Genetics and Evolution, Heredity and Variation, Mendelian Inheritance, Deviations from Mendelism, Incomplete Dominance, Company Dominance, Multiple Alleles and Inheritance of Blood Groups, Pleiotropy, elementary idea of polygenic inheritance, Chromosome theory of inheritance, chromosomes and genes, sex determination in humans, birds, honeybee, linkage and crossing over, sex-linked inheritance, hemophilia, color blindness, Mendelian disorders in humans, thalassemia, chromosomal disorders in humans, Down syndrome, Turner's and Klinefelter's syndromes. Molecular basis of inheritance, search for genetic material and DNA as genetic material, structure of DNA and RNA, DNA packaging, DNA replication, central dogma, transcription, genetic code, translation, gene expression and regulation lack. Operon, Genome and Human Genome Project, DNA fingerprinting, protein biosynthesis. Evolution, origin of life, biological evolution and evidences for biological evolution from paleontology, comparative anatomy, embryology and molecular evidence, Darwin's contribution, modern synthetic theory of evolution, mechanism of evolution, variation, mutation and recombination, and natural selection with examples, types of natural selection, gene flow and genetic drift, Hardy-Weinberg's principle, adaptive. Radiation, human evolution, Unit 8, Biology and human welfare, health and disease, pathogens, parasites causing human diseases, malaria, filariasis, ascariasis, typhoid, pneumonia, common cold, amoebiasis, ringworm, dengue, chikungunya, basic concepts of immunology, vaccines, cancer, HIV and AIDS, adolescence, drug and alcohol abuse, tobacco abuse. Microbes in human welfare, in household food processing, industrial production, sewage treatment, energy generation and as biocontrol agents and biofertilizers. Unit 9, Biotechnology and its applications. Principles and process of biotechnology, genetic engineering, recombinant DNA technology. Application of biotechnology in health and agriculture, human insulin and vaccine production, gene therapy, genetically modified organisms, BT crops, transgenic animals, biosafety issues, biopiracy and patents. Unit 10, Ecology and environment. Organisms and environment, population interactions, mutualism, competition, predation, parasitism, population attributes, growth, birth rate and death rate, age distribution. Ecosystem, patterns, components, productivity and decomposition, energy flow, pyramids of number, biomass, energy. Biodiversity and its conservation. Concept of biodiversity, patterns of biodiversity, importance of biodiversity, loss of biodiversity, biodiversity conservation, Hotspots, endangered organisms, extinction, red data book, biosphere reserves, national parks and sanctuaries, sacred groves.